Hello, everybody. Welcome back to What the Theory with your man Joel. I'm Joel and
Allan.
And today we're doing part 2. Why have you given me that look?
Because you said with your man. Who's man? Aren't you single?
My man.
No, you said with your man.
We're not official. We're not official. But you know, we're in a complex thing. Now you've made us have to announce it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm here with my man Allan. There's a crew in the background. Allan, say hi.
Hi.
Everyone else say hi. They've said hi.
They've said hi.
Yeah, they've said hi. Hi, Doc.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. It was under duress.
What? You came because you're my friend, right? You enjoy being here, right? Okay. What do you think of the last episode?
I think it was fun. Very long. Is today's episode going to be
No.
very long
I'm going
too?
to try and make sure this episode is what, like 40 minutes, 45 minutes? It depends on how much you have to say. But one of the comments we got is that you're a very thorough guest, so I couldn't cut you off.
Okay.
Yeah.
You did the sandwich method. Good, bad, good. I'll take it.
Good, bad, good.
Good opinion, bad opinion, good opinion.
You name a sandwich by what's in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So it was a bad
Bad
sandwich.
sandwich.
Yeah, so you're saying I gave you a bad sandwich.
Terrible sandwich.
So in the last episode, we spoke about mental health and all of these things. So I would be remiss if I didn't ask, how's your mental health?
Currently, pretty good. Did a systems audit recently and we are firing on all cylinders but one.
Which cylinder is not firing?
Financial.
Oh.
Which is fine. That's
Allan's alarm is like, that's the biggest one.
Well, listen, not for me. I do not have many responsibilities outside of myself, so I can afford to be broke. I can't afford to be broke. Give me money, please.
Yeah, well, members of What the Theory, please, we're going to put a number down at the bottom of FlexiPay app. Just send money there. It will get to the doctor. Yeah, for all the advice she's going to give. I'll just take off a small amount for my pain and suffering. Ask me how I am.
How are you? How is your mental health?
I'm glad you asked. It's been rough. I think I'm in a good place. Although, I feel like this year is going by really fast. And one thing I've noticed is that I'm growing older quite... Did people see what she just did? That when I think about time, it seems like there's a lot of life behind me, and when I look ahead, it seems like there's almost an equal amount or even a shorter amount of life ahead of me. So it's making me think about making the most of today, and sometimes I put pressure on myself. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but sometimes I have to say, relax, you can't do it all at once.
I think it's a good thing. It's important to be aware of your mortality and not take the days you have left for granted. But also it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time because you're only as old as you've been alive, which is the only time you've known. So the time from now to 40 is your forever so far. So yeah, and there's still a lot more to do. We keep shifting the next 20 is the new 30, 30 is the new 20, sorry. 40 is the new 30. So I think the world is advancing at a pace that older people are going to be able to do more with more time as more time passes. So I don't think you should discredit what's left of your life.
I think the body movements you're doing are like you wrestling with the amount of positivity you're trying to utter. I think sometimes it's very hard for us to accept that some things don't get better.
Yeah.
And seeing my parents getting older, I can definitely see them wrestling with growing older. But more of what they're wrestling with is that people treat them like old people now. Like you call my dad Mzee and he's like, who's the Mzee? And then he starts walking like a Mzee. I'm like, that's why they're calling you Mzee.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine the time someone calls me Mzee that I'll take it. Are you about to call me Mzee?
I'm not going to call you Mzee. I think as a community, as human beings, we've done a poor job of preparing ourselves, both logistically and mentally, for old age. And I think it's because in the past, not many people used to get there. So it was a sort of sacred age group, a few of them, but now more of us are getting there. And we have to be pragmatic about it. We need to create more activities that are targeted towards older people, make more space in the community for them, because they're here. There are going to be more of them. Health is better. Life is better. Life expectancies are better. We just need to prepare ourselves for getting there. It's inevitable for, hopefully, most people.
Okay. Well, you've tapped into what I wanted us to talk about. Last time, the episode got quite a bit of traction, and I thought I should just raise 3 questions that were asked from the last episode before we get into this one. And this one I wanted us to talk about specifically coping mechanisms that people have, and particular something to do with the substances that we utilize, both illicit and what's the opposite of illicit?
Licit. Sounds like someone with a lisp saying receipt.
Allan, you have something to say? Because I don't know what to say in response to that. To all our people who have lisps, I'm very sorry. All right. One of the people who sent me a message, remain anonymous, said mental illness is one of the things that felt alien to me until I experienced it myself. I'm in a season where I'm starting to give it more empathy as I understand my own mental health issues. However, what I'm concerned about is, have I self-diagnosed and I'm too scared to go and check? What advice would you give me in coping with this adjustment to feeling like I have a mental health issue?
I think the most important thing for you would be to speak to a mental health professional. I don't think there is any harm in you saying you've self-diagnosed, but just like you would need to do a test to be sure that you have malaria before you start the malaria medication, it's good to speak to someone who would be able to give you a concrete diagnosis before you start receiving any kind of treatment. I like to advise people to view mental illnesses the same way we view physical illnesses. It's not a moral failing to become mentally ill. Just like you getting malaria or you getting high blood pressure is because certain parts of your body are not working the way they should because of an external influence. It's the same thing with mental illnesses. Your brain, your mind is ill, and you should get help, and you can get help and get better. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
Thank you. You've used interesting language there. Someone once told me, and tell me if this is useful, that when you're speaking about yourself, there is you and then your brain. I've never... Who am I if I'm not my brain?
That's a tough question, because who is asking that question?
Yeah, because okay. Okay, this is how I know there's probably a split in the way I cognize myself.
Yeah.
When I make myself laugh, I'm like, that was information that was in my brain, but it's making another part of my brain laugh. So probably there's a way I can speak to myself. But the thing you said of there's something wrong with your brain and it's not a moral failing of yours, I think it's hard to parse because it just all feels like it's within you. It all feels like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's my advice, is to maybe think about it as in you contain multitudes.
Yes.
And that you are whoever is registering all those things happening to you. And maybe that will help.
Yeah.
Another question is, could you point me in the direction of someone who could be a good mental health professional for teenagers in particular? Is there anything that we need to know about getting health counseling for adolescents?
Excellent. So we do have some child psychologists in the country, and you could find the best of them at Mulago Hospital. The clinic runs every Monday at Ward 15 at Mulago Hospital. So you could speak to a child psychiatrist then. I'll also be happy to share some contacts, if of course with the permission of the psychiatrist, but I'll be sharing some contacts with Allan, and he will share them with the audience, and they will also give you the advice for the counseling that needs to be done, because there are also child psychologists.
Okay. Now, the third question, which I thought should be part of what we do in this episode, was very straightforward. What are some of the mental health impacts of substance use and abuse in the country? They gave some statistics along the way. I think they said something along the lines of about 25% of Ugandan adults have some form of alcohol abuse. If you use the UN measure, I think, of how you're supposed to have, was it no more than 2-3 drinks in a week? So I thought we could maybe talk about substance use, substance abuse, and then how it might work together with mental health. But let me start by asking you, when we say substance use or abuse, I think this is an area of interest to you.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So how does substance abuse affect mental health? Properly, like I guess maybe not harming it, and then when does it get into harm, according to you?
Okay. So before we can have a conversation about substance use and substance abuse and its impact on mental health, we have to understand what a substance is.
Yes.
I cannot believe this. I feel like I'm in class.
I knew.
So a substance is essentially any chemical that changes the mind, that has an effect on the mind.
Like my coffee?
Like your coffee, for example.
Coffee is a
substance.
psychoactive?
Psychostimulant.
Psychostimulant. Put it there.
Yes.
Psychostimulant. What does that mean?
So it stimulates the central nervous system, stimulates the brain, right?
Okay.
So it's not the coffee itself, but the caffeine that's in the coffee. So there are about 11 classes, 10 classes of substances that are recognized by the DSM. And among them are alcohol, and we have our stimulants, we have our opioids. So those are things.
Oh, the great ones. The ones that really hit the spot.
Exactly.
I've heard.
Opioids, things like morphine, heroin, you've heard?
I've heard, not had.
Okay, we have nicotine. That's what's in cigarettes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a huge group of substances that change how you think, how you feel, how you perceive the world. So there's a difference between substance use and substance abuse.
Can I be asking questions a little bit?
Sure.
No, we're not going to get too technical, but I'm curious. The different categories of the DSM, if someone wanted to look them up, I think you can punch that into, would you encourage them to punch that into their search engine of choice and they can read up on things from like the Mayo Clinic or wherever?
Yes.
Yeah, so they each have different effects on different parts of the brain since they stimulate. Like some might be depressive, some might be uppers, some might be
downers.
Yeah.
There's a categorization which pharmacologists use to describe different substances. So there are things that are called central nervous system depressants. So they make the central nervous system, that's your brain and your nerves, they make them calm down, okay? And they depress them, or they make them go too low. So those are things like opioids.
Opioids
Yeah,
are
they just
downers.
chill you out. Yeah,
Okay.
they're downers. They just chill you out and you feel like everything is relaxed and you have no worries in the world. And then we have our stimulants. So these make you go up. They get you excited. They get you pumped. You know, you're ready to take on the world. Cocaine, caffeine, amphetamines, meth, right?
Methamphetamine.
They fall in that category.
Okay.
And then
Allan, I said what?
Viagra is it?
Viagra
gets you up.
Viagra
Gets you up,
blood
gets you pumping.
It constricts the vessels such that the blood flows with a lot of, and then it's supposed to help your heart.
Dilate the
It also helps other things.
Yeah, it helps other things.
It helps you rise to the occasion.
I mean, she said whatever gets you up gets you.
I meant mentally. Where was I?
Guys, when Allan said whatever gets you up, you should have seen what he did with his hand. But all right.
So there are actually substances that do both, right?
Oh.
At different
Dosages.
Different concentrations.
Okay.
So alcohol, for example, starts out as a stimulant. Anyone who drinks knows how you
That
feel
fast.
when you're tipsy, right? You no longer feel inhibited. You can take on the world. You can jump on a table and dance when you've taken a little bit of alcohol. But then when you take more of it, it starts turning off the lights in your brain. So, you go off, and then that's why you get the blackouts.
Yeah.
That's why it knocks you out,
Okay.
right? Cannabis, different strains, can be uppers or downers.
Oh,
Yeah. So
I'm told.
yes. Huh?
Listen, I don't know why they're laughing. I'm told that there is, what is it, Alan? Indica and what? Sativa. Yeah.
I don't know why you're pretending not to know it, but that's
I've done the research. So, but I don't know which one is which. Like, I know one gives you like, you can become a bit more paranoid. You become a little bit more what's going on. And the other just like completely mellows you out. Yeah. So this is what you're referring to into the different strains of cannabis.
That's what I'm trying to say. So I think I've answered your question, right? You wanted me to explain whether some are uppers and some are downers.
Yeah. You can go ahead.
Yes. So that's basically it. Nicotine, caffeine, nicotine cigarettes are uppers.
Okay.
Yeah, they stimulate you. A lot of people think cigarettes are not addictive, but they actually are.
They're the most addictive, I think.
They're very highly addictive because of the route of administration. Administration, that sounds so clinical.
I'm really getting into this. So let's teach people.
Yeah.
There was a clip, maybe we can put the clip of Hunter Biden talking about.
I saw that clip. He looked so happy.
No, he was like, people were like, when you talk about what you love.
Yeah.
So one of the things he said, which I've wondered about, is he said part of it is the tradition that goes around the taking of the substance. So like for people who smoke cigarettes, typically they will huddle around somewhere. The whole act of you get the pack and then there's the oral fixation and all of that. And then you said the way of administration is also one that is, I guess quick. But cigarettes are not, okay, I guess maybe they're seen as a taboo, but they're not illegal. Neither is alcohol. And because of that, we think that they don't have a damaging effect to the same degree as maybe illicit drugs. So my question for you, if you were to maybe list the substances which you think people are more prone to abuse, are they the legal or the illegal?
I think the legality of certain substances just makes them more dangerous. Alcohol is one of the biggest killers of people worldwide.
Say it again.
Alcohol. Guys, please stop drinking alcohol. And alcohol companies do not kill me in a freak accident.
No, they can't. They have plenty of money, please. They've got a lot of addicted users.
I also know telling people to stop drinking alcohol is not going to make them stop. So the fact is that there has been a lot of work to sanitize a lot of these substances and make them seem more benign than they really are. Because alcohol, for example, you have people saying, a glass of red wine is good for your heart. It's good for socialization. It reduces inhibition at certain amounts. So it's good for building community, because studies have shown that the Gen Zs are drinking much less than millennials are, than the older generations were. And they've also found that Gen Zs are interacting less with other people. They have less community, they socialize less, they go out less. So there is this sort of association that is trying to be built around this.
But many people say they are social drinkers. Like, I only do it when I'm
exactly. Or like, I come home from work, let me kick back and drink a little wine.
That's right.
And it allows people to be functional alcoholics. Cigarettes, for example, tobacco. The tobacco industry has put in a lot of work to sanitize their image. And there was actually quite a lot of pushback against the demand that they write on the packs of the cigarettes that smoking is harmful for your health, smoking kills. This isn't something that has always been there. It came in, I think, in the 60s, 70s. But before that, the CEOs of these cigarette companies would sit in front of Congress. Of course, Americans are always at the scene of the crime.
Come on.
Would sit in front of Congress and say, no, smoking does not cause cancer. It just happens to happen together with smoking, but it doesn't cause cancer.
Correlation is not causation.
Correlation
right?
is not causation,
Okay.
right? And the interesting thing is, now I'm rambling. The interesting thing is the flavorings that were used in cigarettes to make them more palatable to a wider range of users, children, for example,
yeah.
women, have now trickled into the food company, into the food industry. And so you find that you're eating a strawberry flavored, I don't know, cake, but this is strawberry flavor that was initially designed for a cigarette. So the legal drugs, just on scale, do much more harm than the illegal drugs. The illegal drugs are dangerous because of how devastating and rapid their effects can be. But the legal ones, it takes a long time for you to start seeing the effects. For the alcohol to start damaging your liver, you've been drinking it for some time, so it's accumulated in your body and it has damaged your cells, and now we see that you have liver cirrhosis. For the cigarettes, to give you lung cancer, it's going to take a couple of years. But with fentanyl, for example, you're going to take it, get hooked, and not want to go to work anymore because you want to be high all the time. That's the only high that you want, you know? Meth is going to, I was going to swear, mess up your teeth. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm not going to swear.
And fudge up your teeth.
It can mess up your teeth and like just do a lot of physical damage that is seen physically. So it makes it easier for them to demonize these illegal substances. But generally, substances across the board, even when used in moderation, are harmful to your health.
Okay. I have many, this conversation may go many places, so bear with me.
You told me 45 minutes.
Yeah, we are at. So, tobacco, alcohol, would you count sugar as a substance? But
We
people
don't
don't really.
classify it really, but it should, based on how it makes people react.
Like I've tried to get off sugar at some point, but they felt, you feel that I'm trying to get off sugar. I even found that table salt has sugar in it. Like once I started resisting, I said, well, sugar is in so much that even if you try to avoid it, it's laced in everything. So I started thinking that there are certain things, because they are legal, there is a certain layer of pushback that disappears. Like it will take a while for people to be like, that guy is an alcoholic, because you can be a functioning person. As long as you keep showing up, as long as you're able to do your normal responsibilities, it has a sort of invisible effect. And I also experience this on nights when I don't drink, and people are like, why aren't you? Like the question is, why aren't you drinking? Not, someone has to give you a reason as to why they're drinking. So I think that sort of thing, and then, you know, in movies, people who drink are, you know, presented as cool. And when you see, like, there's this bottle of, I'm going to mention a brand and really destroying myself, but what is that Malfi, that gin?
Why are you looking at me? I don't drink.
Anymore. That it looks so good, like just the packaging. It you can't think of it as, oh, this is a bit of a poison that I'm putting in myself. Whereas to cross the boundary to then say I'm going to buy an illegal substance, you almost have to. It's like you're making a conscious choice to get there. So I think the legality of it might protect how easy it might be for you to abuse it in public, even though it takes a long time. Right. Okay. So the original question was substance abuse versus just use.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if you have a comment based on I wanted to discuss it first from the legal substance part, which you started on cigarettes and alcohol. So as a student.
As a student.
Yes, as a student.
Gosh, I hope none of my lecturers land on this. So there's criteria that I'm basing on the DSM and the ICD. Those are really the
ICD?
International Classification of Diseases. It's by the World Health Organization.
Okay. Who?
World Health Organization.
Who?
Okay, it was so bad.
There was an owl in here.
Oh, stop it, please. So there's criteria that you're supposed to meet for us to be able to diagnose you with a substance use disorder. That's what we call substance abuse.
Okay.
You're using it to the point that it's starting to become detrimental to your health, your well-being, and that of others. So we're looking at something like tolerance. That's when you need more
To get the
of the same substance, get the same high.
Okay.
Then we have what we call withdrawal, which is where when you don't use the substance, you start to either feel psychological or even physical discomfort that you've not used the substance. So that's where things like the shakes come in when you don't smoke. So you're withdrawing. Your body is like, hey, where's my heat? You know, I expect this.
It's this time, come on.
This time, where is my heat? You know, and withdrawal is really dangerous because when it becomes a syndrome, it can actually kill.
What?
Yeah, certain substances. For example, alcohol. It even has its own special name. It's called delirium tremens. Delirium tremens. Yes. And it can cause your blood pressure to go really high. Your heart starts beating really fast. You get seizures just because you've not got the usual hit of alcohol. So your body learns to function with the alcohol. So it's not so much that the alcohol has functions in your body that it's doing. No. Yeah, I'm going into pharmacology.
Please.
So the alcohol acts similarly to certain chemicals in your brain, right? And your brain doesn't really differentiate. It says, oh, the action is happening. It doesn't matter who is making the action happen. So since there's this extra guy coming in and doing the work of this other guy, why do I need this other guy? Let me be efficient, remove this other guy. So the alcohol is now doing the work of this other guy. So when you take away the alcohol, the guy who is there, who is supposed to be doing his job, was fired. So now your body starts...
you need, and it's like, hey, where's our supply?
Exactly, where's our supply? So that's what happens with withdrawal. And then there's the impact it's having on your social life, on your functioning at work, at school, at home. Are you unable to go to work because you're hungover all the time? You know? Are you unable to fulfill your marital duties because you have erectile dysfunction? Because you've been, drinking so much alcohol that the nerves are...
I think if they knew this...
Yeah, you guys, protect your small guy. Then...
Even your big guy?
Even your big
Your
guy.
It's just your guy.
Just protect your guy.
Your guy.
Okay.
And then we also look at how it's impacting your relationships with the people in your lives. Yeah. Are you fighting with your wife suddenly so much because she says you're drinking too much and you're saying, no, I'm not drinking too much? We look at also its effect on your physical well-being. Is it impacting you somehow? So there's an entire list of criteria. There are 11 in total, and we have to have a certain number of those to be able to say that this person has a substance use disorder. But even then, just having a few. If you have 3, you have a substance use disorder. But depending on what number you have, you either have a mild, a moderate, or a severe substance use disorder. Okay. Yeah. So that's it.
So if we take it back to the mental health angle, and maybe I'll let Allan come in after. So what have you found maybe interesting in the things that you've studied about the connection between that and people developing either mental health issues or people who already had pre-existing mental health issues and then use substances to sort of maybe treat themselves? Because I'm curious about, let's say if I'm a depressive person, I maybe have a depressive personality and maybe I have that tendency, and I want to get some uppers to like make me, have a good time. I like who I am when I'm a little tipsy. I like who I am when I've got like a little hint of the snow and I'm out there having a good time. Yeah. So for me, it's like it's helping me overcome something that I'm struggling with, and maybe I don't even know that what I have is an issue. I just know this thing helps me feel much better. So I guess my question is on what things have you learned from your studies around the tendency of people who might have mental health issues to use substances, and then what substances might be doing to take people in the other direction.
This is
Easy
my
questions.
jam, first of all.
Oh, okay.
Because my research is on substance use disorders and bipolar disorder. So, yeah. But
Will we read your...
my dissertation,
Yes.
I'll see.
Okay.
So, as part of our studies, a couple of months ago, we did a survey in Butabika Hospital
Okay.
to look at the prevalence of substance use disorders and how much they came alongside mental illnesses. And you have to understand that for us in the mental health world, we categorize substance use disorders as mental illnesses as well.
Oh, is it?
So addiction is a disease. Being addicted to something is a disease because actual changes happen in your body, in your brain, on both the physical and functional level that cause you to be addicted. A lot of people think addiction is
a
a
moral
moral thing. It's about your will, you know?
Just stop it.
Drinking, stop smoking.
Yeah.
But what happens actually in your brain is that it becomes automatic. You're no longer in the driver's seat. What we call your basal ganglia are the ones in
How
the
dare
driver's
you.
seat.
Why are you calling it that?
Basal ganglia, as opposed to what?
Oh, I didn't know what it's called.
So they,
Medulla oblongata, that's what I remember.
yeah, so these are the guys who just help you to form habits, to do the things that you do without even thinking about it. Getting home, when you've done it 100 times.
Yeah, it's almost
you know?
like it's subconscious.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
The subconscious things, the things that you do without thinking. That's what happens to addiction. You start picking that alcohol glass because
Mobile phones, like when I
Yeah.
pick my phone and I
Like a
I
mobile
close an
phone.
app, I put it down, I open it
Yeah.
up. Like, why did I open this?
yes. And we're actually doing a lot of work to try and get internet use categorized. Things like internet use, pornography, gambling.
Aren't we all finished then?
Yes, because it's having some detrimental effects on people's well-being. So,
Okay.
but
Okay.
to get back to substance use disorders and mental illnesses, our survey found that about 49% of the patients admitted in the acute wards in Butabika, it was due to a substance use disorder. So that's a huge, that's
49%.
half of the population in Butabika. And then of these, most of them had a co-occurring mental disorder. And the commonest one was psychosis. So psychosis is essentially a condition where you have hallucinations, you're seeing things other people cannot see, you're hearing voices of people talking, but you can't see them. You can have bodily hallucinations where you feel things moving on your body, but there's nothing there. Hallucinations can occur in any sensory modality, okay? And you can also behave strangely, you can fight people, you can say words that don't make sense. I would say, typical definition of what we call a mad person, that's psychosis. And a lot of these drugs trigger psychosis. A lot of them make it worse.
Is that what psychoactive means?
Psychoactive means it's psychologically active. It's doing something to you.
Your, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
to your psychological state.
Okay.
So cannabis in particular,
The harmless thing, I keep seeing on
harmless
online, they
thing.
say it's very harmless.
yes, I've had quite a few interesting conversations with cannabis users, and it's not easy to convince them of the harm that cannabis can cause. So if you have a risk of developing schizophrenia, that means in your family there is a history of schizophrenia or any psychotic disorder. Your use of cannabis can predispose you to developing schizophrenia when you would have survived it. Yes. So cannabis is known to trigger schizophrenia. And the problem with schizophrenia is, unlike a brief psychotic episode, most of the time it doesn't go. You stay
You
with it for
live
the
with
rest
it.
of your life. Yes. So that's something that's a very huge issue right now. And of course now the other disorders, bipolar disorder, depression, they also come along with these substance use disorders. But like you said, what you find is a lot of these people already had their mental illness, and then they start using substances as a coping mechanism. Someone has bipolar disorder, they're having a manic episode and they cannot sleep.
Yeah.
So they drink alcohol to knock them out. Someone has depression, nothing feels great. They take a little bit of ecstasy to feel better. Okay? Well, there's a class of drugs I forgot to talk about, hallucinogens. They make you hallucinate, you see things. That's our LSD, our MDMA, mushrooms. We all fall into that category.
Mushrooms or what help you see God?
Yes.
Actually, you're seeing
Or a demon. They said it was a what? A 9-foot
tomato.
ayahuasca demon.
What?
You're not chronically online enough.
I'm trying to get offline. Yeah, okay.
Which is good. So substance use can be a trigger for mental illness, but it can also accompany mental illness, and that's because coping mechanism, but also a lot of people who have mental illnesses suffer from impulsivity. Things like bipolar disorder.
So impulse control is...
Yeah, they have impulse control issues. They're more likely to participate in things that put them at risk. So in risky behaviors, like using drugs, okay? Drinking alcohol, then driving, that kind of stuff. So that's really the relationship. They're very, very closely linked. You can't separate substance use from mental health.
Okay. So I know this was supposed to be a 45-minute episode, but I think it's going to be 1 hour. Because you're saying many things.
It's my fault.
No.
Okay.
It's that you're very clever. So, if I look at Kampala, for instance, we keep seeing headlines around. One I saw, Butawika is full and over capacity.
Yeah.
The other I didn't see the study. I think the headline is a bit over sensationalized about there are 14 million Ugandans who suffer from some form of mental health issue. I sometimes the way pop psychology is written is a bit weird. But if I look at the social conditions we're in, we party a lot. Like Ugandans party a lot. Drinking and driving is something that's quite common. So much so that if you over speak about it, people are like, doesn't relax, I've done it before. Actually, one of my friends made this joke. He said, you shouldn't drink and drive. But if you're going to drink and drive, you should do it a lot so that you get good at it. Because anything you do a lot of, you're going to get really good at it.
Yeah.
Right? And all of us were kind of going along with it. And until something happens, it's like insurance. Like your experience of it is they tell you about the danger, but nothing is really happening. And I can't help but notice that drugs are becoming a lot more popular. I have a few nephews and nieces who, in their schools, kids have been found with these substances at a much younger age. So I keep wondering if the supply is also driving people to use them as a coping mechanism more and more just because they're a little bit more available. So would you say that we have a drug issue in the country? Would you say it's a crisis?
We definitely are in a crisis. We're definitely in a substance use crisis. It's hard to pinpoint what exactly the numbers are for substance use in Uganda, because we've not had very comprehensive nationwide surveys, but it's a big problem. Like you mentioned earlier, the UN said about 25% of Ugandans have an alcohol use,
a chronic alcohol
disorder.
Yeah.
And then you just look at the numbers. We are among the top performing alcohol.
At least we're winning in something.
You know, like it's so bad that you break down, if they were to divide all the alcohol in the country by everyone, including the babies and the really old people, I think each Ugandan would have to drink, I forget the exact number, maybe Allan will find it, but either
maybe he knows.
6 liters or 12 liters of alcohol annually. Like it's a
12
lot.
liters
including
annually?
The babies. Yes, of pure alcohol, FYI, not watered down, like 100% alcohol. Yes, so that's how bad it is. It's a crisis, and it's not just alcohol. It's the different substances. Cannabis is huge. It's a huge problem.
And it's becoming, I think, a little bit more socially acceptable.
It is becoming more socially acceptable, which is interesting.
Because to me, the way it was sold is that it's less dangerous than alcohol. And that mental cell is like, okay, if alcohol is illegal, then weed surely is not as bad. But you can take way more weed than like at a certain limit, there's a certain limit to how much you're going to drink. So I don't know. I feel like what you're saying, you must be getting bad pushback.
Yes. It's not fair to say something is all bad, right? Because cannabis, for example, has some...
I mean, no one would be taking it if it didn't have some...
It's helpful for some people in some ways, but you have to do a risk-benefit analysis and see making this substance more acceptable is going to expose more people to it and cause more people to use it in the wrong ways.
Yeah.
Than making it available with a lot of controls and safety measures in place. For example, some countries only allow the dispensation of cannabis for medical purposes. So you have to get it from a person with a license and with a prescription, right? Those are things that help to lessen the harm of people misusing something that is helpful at low doses, but then using it at high doses. It's now not just the contemporary drugs, the ones that we were familiar with, that are becoming a problem. School kids are using stimulants, ADHD medication.
Oh, the ADHD meds,
yes, they're now misusing it. Meth is a very big problem. We call it ice here.
And they offer it for... We had this conversation.
Yes.
Sometimes they offer it for free.
They offer it for free first.
Yeah.
You get hooked, and now you have to buy it.
Can you tell us about that thing you told me? That thing of what it does to your...
To your dopamine system.
I find like we talk a lot about dopamine online.
Yeah.
My understanding of dopamine, I'm very dumb, but allow me to say it in my own dumb layman's way. Like dopamine is, I think, the hormone that is released when there's anticipation of something that is going to be pleasing happening.
That's going to reward you.
So it's like it's not a reward for doing something. It's like
it's a motivator.
Motivator for me to get something done.
Yeah.
So okay. Now that we know what dopamine is, what is the effect of? You did a sort of hierarchy of what sleep is and what water does, and then maybe you could do that.
Yeah.
Because it scared me really.
So we have our basic, what's
natural...
The natural rewards. Yes. Thank you. The natural rewards, sex, food, love.
Oh.
Yeah, interesting.
Fun.
Isn't that sweet? So these are things that you need to survive. If you did not enjoy doing them, you would have no motivation to repeat doing them.
Gotcha.
So that's why the body makes them pleasurable, right?
You remember last time
the last time I ate food. That's I know the example you wanted me to
What
use.
example?
So the last time
you ate?
The last time I ate food, okay? It was good. I felt pleasure because I ate the food. So I'm going to be motivated to do it again. So dopamine is your habit-forming hormone. It's your habit-forming hormone. It teaches you to repeat something.
Okay.
What dopamine does is it triggers the release of chemicals somewhere else in the brain called endorphins.
The endorphins, like a good feeling you get.
Exactly, and that's the good feeling that you get, right? And that's what people chase.
Okay.
So things like sex, love, food, they raise your dopamine levels from the baseline by about 100-200%, right? It's about here. Okay. So it's really easy for it to rise slowly and then...
Oh, it's like
it's a
I've had a great time. Okay, thank you very much.
And then it tapers back down to your baseline. Okay. But then you move to drugs and they start doing more of it, right? Okay. So you have your 100% increase with food, and then when you take alcohol, it's 200%. So the climb down is a little steeper, right? And then you move on to something like nicotine, and it's 500%. And the climb down is even steeper. And then you move to meth, ice, and it's 3,000%.
Did you say 3,000?
3,000%, yes. So it's really up there.
Is it because meth is synthetic, right?
Yes, it is.
So it's designed
to hook you and to give you that huge shot of pleasure. And unfortunately, the very first high you get is going to be the best.
Ever.
Yes, it's going to be the best you'll ever get. So you will keep chasing that high and you'll never get it again.
That's why they call me old meth.
Okay. So
I
I hope you saw my disappointment.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
So-
It's the first time is the greatest.
Yes.
So,
So that's the problem with the drugs. They're
So-
very highly addictive. They force you to look more for them. And human beings, at our core, we're creatures that love pleasure.
like at the base of our brain,
At
that
the base of our
reptilian,
brain.
that part of us that we don't really control is
Yeah.
just like, look, I'm seeking.
I want to feel
That's
good.
why we keep eating sugary foods even when they're still in abundance. We treat it like from our history.
Yeah.
Finding something like this is it's a rarity. So even though we live in a time of supermarkets, I'll just have to keep consuming because my flesh is designed to keep hoarding that stuff.
Yeah.
So once you've gotten to a point like so something that raises your dopamine levels up there, does that make you lose enjoyment of these other elements? Because that's a thing I remember learning about what addiction shows up like. You lose enjoyment in other things. You're just seeking that big payoff again. It's like
Yeah.
you're chasing the dragon.
Essentially, yes. Because think of it like drinking a cup of tea with 5 spoons of sugar and then drinking a cup of tea with 1 spoon of sugar. Now, if you've learned to enjoy the 5 spoons of sugar, you're not going to want to take the 1 spoon of sugar. That's essentially what happens. The magnitude of the pleasure feels diminished. So you're no longer interested in food, you're no longer interested in sex, you're no longer interested in love and affection. And the brain, for it, all it cares about is efficiency. So if
It's morally neutral. It's like,
it's
look, I'm
morally
just
neutral.
what is necessary.
Yeah, I'm just here to keep the systems running.
Okay.
So if you're not using these, if you have no need for these things anymore, we'll kick them aside and focus on chasing this high.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, with this scary information that you've given us, how many people self-report? I don't know if you've done anything about people coming in and saying, I am addicted and I need help.
I think that's
I usually
interesting.
hear about interventions that other people have to come in and say, no, and you hope that those people are the ones who are going to treat it like it's an illness, not the judgment which I usually hear traditionally, which is that person is spoiled, they are ruining everyone else. So I'm just thinking if you're struggling with that and the social backlash, you most likely are going to be cast out of society and things are going to get exacerbated. So if someone is listening and they recognize themselves in what you're saying, what would you advise they do to get help?
I would advise, I sound like a broken record, go to a mental health professional.
When you say mental health professional, one of the questions I had is, one, maybe you can clarify the psychologists, therapists, counselors, you go to any of them and just say, are most mental health professionals trained to know how to, okay, this is who I shall refer you to?
Yes.
Okay.
So ideally, a good mental health professional should know to refer you to the correct place.
Okay.
And interestingly, we're finding that even other figures of authority, like religious leaders, traditional
Allan, the pastor.
traditional healers, have learned to refer patients our way,
Okay.
which is very helpful. Of course, it's not yet happening at the amount we want it to happen, but the fact that it's happening at all is a good thing. And there's work being done to foster those relationships and encourage those people to send people to us when they need the help. But anyone, a therapist should know to refer you to a psychiatrist when you need it, a psychologist, a counselor. They'll all be able to refer you to a psychiatrist or a psychiatric clinical officer. Those are the people who can manage. But generally, any medical professional can refer you to a mental health specialist. So even your doctor, your medical officer, your clinical officer, your nurse should be able to refer you to mental health care.
Okay. Do you have any questions, or you're just as stunned as me?
Just thank God for neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity?
Yeah, we're really lucky that the brain is not static. And
Yeah, it can recover, it can
recover.
heal, it can.
Yeah.
Does that plasticity last through life? Doesn't it at some point get harder for you to change?
It does get harder. Of course, the easiest time for neuroplasticity is childhood. That's when the brain is still developing. So the interesting thing about the brain is when you're really young, you have multitudes of
So
neurons,
many
so
pathways for
many
you to go.
connections, yes. So many connections. And then at a certain age, something called pruning starts happening. Pruning, yes. So the synapses that are not used so
they don't
much,
fire as much.
yes, they start getting pruned away because the brain says, oh, you don't need that. I'll take that back. Because again, efficiency.
The brain is like, oh, you need common sense.
Stop talking about me.
Which is why we emphasize that
Early childhood development. Okay, keep talking.
early childhood development is so important. Like that's the most crucial period of a child's life, and that's why we have some of the people we have in power acting the way they act. Please don't arrest me. So
We all got your message. It's okay.
yes,
Yeah.
and that's why things like nutrition are
Nutrition.
very important. You have to make sure the child has access to all the nutrients they need to grow. Iron is very important. Please don't give your child only milk. It's very low in iron and makes it difficult for your baby to absorb iron in the first place. And then also giving your child exposure to a lot of things. That period is what's going to determine if your child is going to be a polyglot, a polymath, if they're going to be good at music, if they're going to be good at sports.
Just keep trying all kinds of things. You never know.
Yeah, give
Okay.
them everything.
Okay.
And then as we get older, the potential for learning new things reduces, but it's still extremely impressive and it persists into old age. But of course, the older you get, because at a certain point you start losing neurons, you start losing brain mass. And if you look at the CT scans of an older person, the brain is slightly smaller, which is expected. We're just aging.
Yeah.
But you can learn new things at any age, and addiction can be treated at any age.
So kids with smartphones for me has always been a scary thing because I feel like it's already overwhelming for me. So if I was a 10-year-old and you gave me a sea of information, I think it would completely overwhelm me. But then that becomes the new normal. So what would you say we've normalized that we shouldn't be normalizing?
Overstimulation. Everything is brighter, louder, more tactile. We are creating artificial worlds that are so different from the real world that we exist in that it makes it difficult
To just
for
enjoy
people to feel satisfied in the real world. Because if I'm scrolling on TikTok, or let's use the child example, if I'm watching cartoons and the colors are so bright, the fruits are bright yellow and bright red, and then I go out and mommy gives me a fruit that's,
Real life is now boring.
real life becomes boring, it becomes less stimulating, and that just keeps people in a perpetual state of meh. Yeah, like they're not impressed by what they're finding out there, because what's inside the phone, in the TV, in the laptop is more stimulating, it's louder, it's brighter. I think that's something that we really, really have to work on. Yeah.
I have a friend who got was overexposed to air conditioning. That right now he just can't survive like in the normal, more like he decided developing like sweats and things like that. Because I think he traveled abroad for school, then he was in a place where there's AC in class, AC in your room, AC in the car, everywhere. But now when he came back, he literally can't be outside. He developed sweats, he's always sweating, he's always stuff. So make sure his car must have AC, the office must have AC, everywhere he goes.
Yeah. The body loves homeostasis. It loves equilibrium, like a balance all the time. And so if you're in a certain place for long enough, whatever environment is there, your body will adapt to that and it will set a new set point and say, okay, this is your baseline. So you need more time again to adapt to the new set point. Okay. So yeah, your body doesn't like you. Your body doesn't like you.
No, I feel like our
It
bodies.
itself.
Well, I can understand why, if you are very maybe religious from the Abrahamic sense, the feeling that you are not your body. I can see where that comes from, because it almost feels like I think it's Saint Paul who says, "The things I want to do, I don't do. Things I want to do, I struggle to do." So they called the flesh like your enemy. And I remember in the movie Sinners, the director said there are two things that he found talks about that. One is religion, and the other one is the blues. Like the blues, almost they sympathize with you. It's like, I have to deal with my body and my flesh and these desires, which they are within me, but they feel foreign. So, second last question. You're dealing with it from a medical side, but this has social and political and cultural issues. Maybe there's somebody who writes laws. What would you tell them to do? What would you tell us to do? Because everything you've talked about involves legalities of certain drugs, the illegality and the treatment of people who, might be using illicit drugs, but maybe to treat themselves. And so because of that, there's a fear of like, I can't come and speak to a medical professional because I'm going to tell them I'm taking something illegal. They're going to say something about it, which I don't think they would. But I'm just trying to hear from you in terms of what would you say probably needs to happen beyond the treatment part, because at that point, you're almost having to repair something which you could have prevented.
So once again, the biopsychosocial model. So we're looking at
Come back.
episode 1. So we have the biological side of things, which is what we are doing. We're treating you, blah, 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 and the psychological to some extent. The social part is where we are falling behind very significantly. We don't ask enough why people are using substances, why people are turning to substances. A lot of people use substances as an escape from the harshness of real life. So, for example, things like cannabis, inhalants, that's a class of drugs, so things that are sniffed, glue, airplane fuel, that kind of stuff. We find that a lot of the youth who are using these drugs have no other options. They don't have work, they're not in school, and they can't afford food. So some of them sniff glue and airplane fuel so that they don't feel hunger, because those drugs suppress the feelings of hunger. So you can imagine someone doesn't have food and they're going to turn to drugs because they're cheaper than buying food, or they can be found freely. And then
You can't just say no.
you can't just say no, right?
Yeah.
And then when it comes to Ugandans and social drinking, I think it's that loss of third places. You know what the concept of a third place is,
But,
where people can.
So there's home,
There's home, there's work,
there's work or school.
but there's this third place
Okay.
where you be a human being, you exist, you socialize with other people. The shrinking,
Especially where you don't have to pay.
exactly, the shrinking and commercialization of these third places has become so detrimental to our well-being, because now you can only have fun with other people in the bar. And what's in the bar? Alcohol, because the bar owner has to make money. And then also, I was reading an essay by Bertrand Russell. And this is a really old essay from 1935, but he was mentioning how we are essentially overworked. We work too much. His radical idea was that we should work 4 hours a day. I was amused to find out recently that that's actually a biblical thing, that we should work only 4 hours a day. And what's happening is a lot of people spend all their active energy in working, that when it comes to relaxing and socializing, they want to do it passively.
Yeah, you're not doing anything creative. You're not doing anything productive.
creative. Yeah,
You're almost just recovering from having. When I go on leave, it's like, did you rest to come back to work? It's not like I'm going to do something.
Yeah. And what's more passive than drinking alcohol, than smoking a cigarette, than taking, smoking weed to chill out? You're scrolling, right? Okay. So there are so many social issues, socio-economic issues that are at the core of substance use. And our failure to address them is why we have what we call a revolving door phenomenon in the hospital, where someone comes in because of a substance use issue, we treat them, they get better. A couple of months later, they're back. same issue. Because we are helping them in this controlled environment of the hospital, but when
Send
we
them
send
back
them
out into the world.
yes, they're back into the very environment that triggered the substance use in the
Place
first
that made me
place.
sick in the first place.
Exactly. So there's that.
What a cheery episode. Yeah.
Yeah, and first of all, I don't subscribe to that third place thing. It's really, really sad, honestly. That's not the question.
What?
The chasing third place thing, like you find people, like you go out, people are in bars, but they're on their phones. I'm like, I thought you came here to have fun. Why don't you just make your home that thing? But that's not what the question is about. What do you think is most likely to lead to addiction? Is it the escaping? Are you escaping or chasing pleasure? Which do you think is most likely going to lead someone?
It's hard to pinpoint and say this is the one thing that's going to lead someone there. It's really hard.
But from the cases that you've
There's no like a
seen and
unique
about,
cause.
and
There's no, the things usually happen in combination. It's very rare
can't
that you're going
isolate
to
it.
find, they rarely happen in isolation. They usually happen together. It's very rare to find someone who you ask, why did you start drinking alcohol? And they tell you, I just wanted to feel nice. Most of them are going to tell you, my friends were doing it. And then I started doing it and I realized, this feels good. So the factors that lead to a person becoming addicted are usually happening all together at once. And just one will rarely cause someone to get addicted. It has to be a combination of things. Yeah.
Okay. Last question. How do you cope with having all this information? I say this just because...
Why is Allan laughing?
No, okay. You can see its impact. I was asking you this, I don't know if it was on camera or not, but I feel a little neurotic because sometimes I'll come into contact with some information that should make me react with fear or with anger, but it's socially, I can't go out and say, you guys, climate change is happening, we are in trouble. I can't respond that way. So I feel like the way for me to kind of deal with it is making me have to suppress some information because I'm like, we're not doing anything about this thing and it's crazy. So how do you cope with that? Because you're in contact with a system that you're treating people. It's like you're throwing water into a leaking bucket, but you have to just keep doing it. So how do you keep yourself sane? How do people who work in that field maintain your composure? How about you guys are also there?
We are
giving
there,
yourself
but
some morphine.
we are there, but also work is being done. It's just that the problem is so big that the efforts right now feel like you're digging at the bottom of a mountain and you want to level it. I mentioned to you earlier, the UNODC actually mentioned that prevention is going to be the most important thing for overcoming the drug crisis.
Yeah.
And they found that each dollar they spend in prevention saves the country $10 in treatment. So we need to build more third places. We need to uplift the socioeconomically disadvantaged people and create avenues for them to do other things that keep them away from drug use. We need to sensitize the public, to educate them, to just remove that perception that addiction is a moral failing, and encourage more people to get help and to be able to recognize the signs that they may be addicted, because a lot of people don't even realize that they have a drug use problem because they can keep going, they can keep functioning. If I'm drinking my alcohol, if I'm binge drinking every weekend, but Monday to Friday,
make it to work.
I won't know that I have a problem until it becomes a problem. So the work is being done. It's there. For me, my part is to yell at people as much as I can. Stop it. Alcohol is poison. Stop putting it into your body. I think those are the small things that we can do, especially people who have a platform of some sort. You educate the public, essentially. Because at the end of the day, the decision to stop using the substance or to avoid it is going to be an individual one. Okay. And also legal legal methods of protecting the public. I don't know, has the tobacco bill been passed yet?
I'm not aware.
A lot of activists are working hand in hand with health professionals to push for more stringent controls on things like tobacco, alcohol.
Yeah.
So the laws need to be stricter. We need to care more about the well-being of the people than the well-being of some people's pockets.
Have you been in capitalism?
I do not like capitalism.
Yeah.
Communist.
Well, for me, anything that is anti-capitalist at this point, I just feel like we are. My favorite definition is something trying to grow infinitely in a finite amount of resources is cancerous. Yeah, but I said it was my last question.
Yes.
This is my real last question. If someone you know is going through this, you see that they're addicted, but they deny it, how do you intervene? I'm not saying you give us a blanket thing, but like, let's say I have a brother, a sister, a parent who I see going through, I've checked and I see that they're harming themselves, but they themselves, they're functional, but it's starting to crumble. How do you help? In the movies, we see people have interventions, they talk to them and ask people to get, into sort of rehab. Other times people are taken to rehab because they seem to be a danger to themselves. In 3 minutes, can you give us?
3 minutes, I think too many. I'm a big supporter of involuntary admission.
Involuntary admission, okay.
Oh, this is going to bite
Madam
me in the
Dictator,
ass
tell
later.
us.
I think if you really realize you've tried everything, you've tried to talk to that person and you failed, and you realize that they're putting themselves at risk, and likely other people as well, there are provisions for involuntary admission to a mental health facility. But before you get there, you could still try with the interventions, try connecting them with people who do not feel very clinical. A lot of people have that mistrust of medical professionals, which is understandable. There have been some issues in the field.
You don't say.
But taking someone to church, to speak to the church leaders, for example, if that's
a good start.
A place they go to, even the mosque has provisions where someone can talk to you. You may find it easier to get through to the person through that than by strong arming and taking them to the hospital. And then there are support group programs. So things like Alcoholics Anonymous, where you can go and interact with other people who have the same problem as you and see what their perspectives are. You'll find people who have overcome addiction, who have healed from it, people who are still recovering from it, people who have relapsed and are trying to get back on the road to recovery. We find that those kinds of interactions help people to seek help more easily than strong arming and doing what Acan wants, and forcefully admitting them. And they actually have better prognosis through those paths. Butapika has an Alcoholics Anonymous program.
Okay.
I will share the dates and times. I forget when exactly it is. Some rehab facilities have as well. I think Africa Retreat Center has one. But maybe that will be research for maybe past the showrunners.
Yes, we're going to do the research
Yes, please.
and then put up some of this information.
But Uganda does have support group programs.
Okay. Unless Allan has something he wants to add. I think this has been very informative for me. There's a lot that I've learned. But maybe on a personal note and to the people watching, I had a talk recently at MOOBS, and they were telling me how a lot of kids are looking for work that is going to make them financially. And I thought it was kind of sad because as I was heading there, the air quality at my car window, it's so bad in Kampala. And I don't know if this report from, what's that thing that Natif started? Public Square, yes, was that being in Kampala a day in Kampala is like the equivalent of smoking a number of cigarettes directly. I don't know what it is. But I think it's unfortunate that some of the best minds that this country has to offer are going to be looking to maximize how much cash we're going to make, and not enough people are maybe trying to solve these kinds of issues. So to see a big brain like yours trying to work on these items it's a nice thing. So we'll clap for you. Kale, now that I have made it very uncomfortable by complimenting her, thank you guys for watching the show. We will have a third episode. I don't know if we'll still. Do you want to be here? Or we can be outside next time.
I don't know. You said the air quality.
Yeah, with the air quality. Yeah, let's show them how bad it is. So maybe we'll gasp a lot and the thing will be shorter. We'll go to a bar and just be like, don't do this. Thank you so much. If you've got any issues, if someone you care about is, you think, struggling with addiction of any kind, we're going to put some resources in the description. You don't have to struggle alone. I think, like Dr. Acan said, it's not a moral failing. It is a disease, and a disease that is caused by the socioeconomic climate that we live in. So have some love for yourself, have some love for the people around you, and seek some help. You want to say something?
Thank you for watching. Please add me to the letters of the show.
Show me the meaning of being lonely. It's just the feeling I need to walk with. Tell me why I can't be there where you are. There's something missing in my life.
Stage 3.